Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today we have a Start Collecting Warhammer 40,000 video for you, and today we're going to be looking at the Space Marine Combat Patrol box. Now, what we hope to do in this video, we're going to talk about what comes inside this box, how we can use it to start up an army, and what the units inside this box particularly do on the battlefield for us. We're then going to look at units we can use to expand upon this force with, so we're going to look at some other units inside the Space Marine Codex, and then lastly we'll finish off the video with a little sample army list you can use to either get an idea of how to build up your own Space Marine force with this box set, or indeed copy our list if that's what you wish to do. And so, let's get started with the contents of this particular box. So for starters, we've got a Primaris Lieutenant in Phobos armor. He's a really interesting little character. First of all, he's got his Oculus Bolt Carbine, which is really nice. It ignores the effects of cover when he targets units with it, which is cool. So a nice little ability to sort of get around some cover saves. And it sort of ties in with the rest of the force we've got here, which is long-range firepower, and also, I guess, sort of like a stealth ops sort of Space Marine force inside this box set. He's pretty decent, you know, he's got your same sort of Space Marine stat line for his strength and toughness, 2s and 2s to hit with ballistic skill and weapon skill. He's got a nice save of 3+ as a base, which is pretty solid. So all around, just a good solid lieutenant to lead your initial Space Marine force. Now he combines well with the Intercessors, which have our marksman weapons as well. Now if they roll a 6 to hit, they automatically wound. This is really nice, once again, able to wound some much tougher targets in the game really easily, to sort of not have to get through with those really hard, sometimes, rolls you're having to make to wound some creatures. Being able to roll some 6s to hit to get those wounds automatically through is really solid. Next we have Suppressors. This is a really interesting unit. It's a heavy weapons unit that has jump packs. So this gives us some good maneuverability to get these heavy weapons around the battlefield where they need to be. Now the Suppressors, they are carrying accelerator autocannons, which have a nice range of 48 inch. They're a heavy 3 weapon with a strength of 7, -1 AP and damage 2. This means they're great at killing other Space Marines at range. The ability to have this unit hopping around the battlefield and getting into target and killing important Space Marine units on the table is really nice. That damage 2 is really solid on these weapons. And then we have the Eliminators. Now they've got a couple of different interesting weapon options available to them. First of all, Eliminators standard come with bolt sniper rifles, where you don't get to use the Lookout Sir rule when you're applying shots from these weapons, which is really nice. And they've got a couple of different rounds they can use, from the Executioner, Hyperfrag, or Mortis rounds, all giving you a wide variety of different effects. However, you could choose to replace these with the Las Fusils, which are a much sort of heavier weapon option for the units. They are a heavy 1 weapon with strength of 8 and -3 AP with damage 3. Really good at putting some damage through on your enemy's light vehicles, and also taking out some heavier infantry targets as well. And lastly, we've got an Impulsor, a fantastic troop transport for your Space Marines. This can carry a multitude of the different squads inside this box set, but definitely works best with those infiltrators inside it. And so you've got the ability to transport 6 models inside the unit. You can definitely combat squad those infiltrators down to one 5-man unit inside there, along with your lieutenant perhaps. Now, it's got a wide variety of missiles for a troop transport. You can give it with a Bellicaris missile array. It's got Fragstorm grenade launcher. It's got a bunch of different weapon options it can take. It can also have some cool things like a shield dome, where it can get 5+ invulnerable save, which is really nice for keeping your troops and indeed the tank itself alive. So you've definitely got a really versatile utility piece of a transport here that not only can be a transport, but can provide some good firepower for your army as well. And so, where can we go from those initial units? What should we grab next to sort of build along the theme of the force we've got in that initial box set, and also help us get some other pieces to the puzzle? Well, my first suggestion is Reavers. I really do think they fit in with the sort of stealthy sort of appeal that we've got for the rest of the army with our snipers and all that sort of stuff. So Reavers are a great option. These are terror striking drop troops. So they've got a cool ability where they can drop into the battle 9 inch away from enemy units, start off the table, which is really nice. They've got some terror tactic abilities where they affect your opponent's leadership when they're nearby them. Really cool unit with some great utility uses. They've got like their grab hooks and stuff like that they can use. Combat weapons as well, so they can be a decent sort of combat threat. I mean, all Marines are generally good in combat. They can do a decent amount, which is nice. And then next up, we've got a captain in Phobos armor. So for starters, he ignores Lookout Sir, much like the other models we've got in our initial starter box, thanks to his particular sort of bolt carbine that he has. Now, what's really cool about captains is they give out reroll ones to hit, which is really nice. So he can give out a nice little buff area around him, giving out some rerolls to hit, while our other sort of characters can provide us with some different benefits. The main thing between captains and lieutenants is that lieutenants provide a reroll wound of wound rolls of 1 rather than the captain's reroll hit rolls of 1. So combining like captains and lieutenants together on the same unit can be a really strong combination just to get the most out of your units around them. We then have an Inceptor squad. Much like the other squad, the suppressors we've got in the initial box set, they're a jump troop. Now, the Inceptors do something a little bit different. They haven't got quite the heavy weapons that can maybe are the Marine killers, but they do have their really cool plasma exterminators or the assault bolters, so they can do a different sort of job than what your suppressors can do. I really do feel like the two units complement each other well, able to take out various different threats across the battlefield, so having a unit of each in your army enables you to do different things in the table. While you might be with your assault bolters, Assault 3 taking out lighter troops, say like Chaos Cultists or some other lighter armoured units in, say, a Chaos Space Marine army, your suppressors on the other hand go hunting the Death Guard themselves and go kill the actual Space Marines. You can really use these two units to complement each other well. Lastly, I've gone for a long range tank in the Gladiator Lancer. I feel that this tank particularly suits this sort of army well, as it is able to sort of sit in the backfield and provides us with some important anti-mechanized force ability. So with its giant Lancer laser destroyer, it's a heavy 2 strength 10 weapon with AP -3 and damage D3 +3. This is going to give us some great tank killing ability, which the rest of the force potentially lacks in. Maybe you've got your last fusils in there, but really they're much better at taking out things like Terminators and stuff like that, while your Gladiator Lancer is going to be great for taking out other enemy tanks and providing you with a nice cool centerpiece to plant your army around. These are just some great options. Space Marine have an absolute wealth of options, but I feel like these ones give you a little bit something to start to build your Space Marine force with. And so here we have a little 750 point incursion size game sample army list for you to start off your Space Marine adventure with. Now, we're playing obviously Imperium and the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines, and we've gone for Raven Guard as our faction here, our sub-faction if you will, chapter. Now, the reason we've gone for Raven Guard is, for me, just narratively, this sort of force completely fits with everything the Raven Guard do. It's got drop troops, it's got snipers, it's got infiltrators. This is all Raven Guard to me. Now, you can easily switch this up to whatever force you want to. Space Marine units generally work the same. You just have to slightly tweak your strategies depending on which sort of bunch of Marines you're using, which chapter you're going to choose from. You can indeed make your own as well. But for me, Raven Guard are the ones I suggest going with this box just on the narrative of what they are. So what you get for being Raven Guard is you get some abilities that effectively start giving you light cover and the ability for cover if your opponent starts targeting you over certain distances, which is really nice. This combines well with the fact that your units ignore cover, so you can hug cover and take all those advantages, or even be in open ground and get some benefits for it. But you're also going to be ignoring your opponent's benefits to play that style of firefight game. So some really useful benefits there for the Raven Guard. Now for starters, we've gone for a captain in Phobos armor. He's the only unit we've added from our initial box set. He's going to be our warlord. He just has that little bit more survival than the lieutenant, and the lieutenant obviously is there to back him up in Phobos armor as well. We've then got the infiltrator squad. We've got the sergeant just with a base loadout, 9 infiltrators, and we've got the Helix Gauntlet in the unit as well, which is another one of the upgrades we can take for the unit. So Helix Gauntlet is once per turn. The first time a saving roll is failed for the bearer's unit, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0. You can also change this out for Omni Scramblers. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches of this unit. I think both of those really have some great benefits for the force, though I do like the ability to keep my troops safe and keep them alive generally that little bit better. Fast attack wise, we've got the suppressor squad here. There's going to be a great little movable fire support, able to take out some Space Marines while our infiltrators and stuff sort of pin our opponent in place. And then we've got the eliminator squad, and we've chosen to go for the last few souls in case we come up against Terminators or anything of that sort of heavy infantry ilk, or even indeed some light vehicles as well. We've then got the Impulsor, the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber, 2 Fragstorm grenade launchers, and a Shield Dome for a nice invulnerable save. The idea here would be to split that Infiltrator squad into combat squads, make it 2 units of 5, probably put the Captain in the back with the rerolls to hit inside the Impulsor, moving him forward, getting him into those nice sort of combat areas and the front of the firing lines, and then your Lieutenant sort of sitting back with the other 5-man combat squad, taking closer home-based objectives for you. This is a great little starting force for Space Marines. If you've been playing Space Marines in the new edition, especially Raven Guard, and playing with this sort of style of Space Marine force, let us know how you've been going and what you've been doing with these particular units in the box set. And so that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, leave us a comment and let us know what you liked about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine community we've got going at Cinderfall Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the description of the video to our Discord server. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining our Patreon or YouTube members. Our Patreon and YouTube members help decide what content we do on the channel. If you'd like to help support, that would be greatly appreciated, and we'd love to give a shout out to everyone who has helped support the channel via Patreon, and that is our patrons: Christian Weir, James, Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lyle, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Donut226, Anton Nilsson, and JJ Austrian. And a special thank you to our YouTube members who, by the way, don't forget when we've got live streams and in the comments you can use our special emojis on YouTube. You amazing people. Thank you to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Steve T, The Real Zeop, Chris Wallace, Turai12, Vinny, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, and a special thank you to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to Xmorphic, who does an amazing job at all the background work in our Discord server. Thank you to both of you. You do an amazing job and do so much for the channel. That's it for today, folks, though. Stay safe and stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.